And we should be live, I think. Let's see. I had a lot of problems with this one. Let's see if it's actually working or not. I don't know if it is or not. Let's see. Are we live? Oh, nope, there it is. Okay. Now we're live. I don't know since when. Sorry, a little weird. This one was a weird one. There's a lot of stuff I had to do behind the scenes to get it working. But welcome to Next Gen Redemption. Today we are playing Helltaker Second Circle. This is a fan-made visual novel sequel to Helltaker, which is a game I've already played on this channel. Drove me nuts. So this time we're gonna play it. Oh, sorry, I'm so flustered. There was a lot of issues with capturing this because on OBS for some reason the game capture wasn't working, so I had to do it from the window capture, and at first it didn't work, but then it just started working for some reason. I had to do some administrator stuff, and then yeah, it was just a little weird, but we're gonna do it. So stuffed, I'm sorry. Ugh. It's been a full year since you escaped from hell, bringing with you a staunch harem of terrible demon women. Let me make sure my mic's on. Yep, mic's on. Everything's good. Oop, wrong one. There we go. Okay. Pandemonica, the sadistic workaholic with a penchant for coffee. Modius, a demon of lust with personal space issues. Cerberus, three excitable demons with adorably macabre goals. Melina, a staunch believer in the curative powers of alcohol and strategy games. Strategy games. Constantly tormented. Her sister Zadrada, a demon with severe authority problems and daddy issues. Oh, this dream is so scuffed, I'm sorry. It's not one of my better ones. The latency's real high, I forgot to change that, oh god. Azazel, a self-proclaimed angel from heaven moonlighting amongst the demons to complete a research paper. I don't know if my mic's in the right spot. Justice, an easygoing demon just out to live life to the fullest. Judgment, protege of Justice, high-strung warden of hell. And Lucifer, the queen of hell with a soft spot for chocolate pancakes. Speaking of, and just like that, bon appetit. Taker, you really must clean out the refrigerator. Look at it, there are flies everywhere. Oh. Did it freeze? Uh-oh. Oh, this is so scuffed. This is the worst one so far. Worst stream. We'll get through it. Oh, I thought this game was going to be easy, man. It's got to do some reading. But this is giving me the problems. Skip. Skip, 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 skip. Oh, I just did faster than that. Come on. Come on. Oh, I apologize whoever's watching this in the VOD. Nope, stop, 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 stop. Nope, stop, 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 stop. Nope. Ah! 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 No, we're doing it again. Forget that. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Oh boy. It still was kind of slow on that one though. Did you notice that? It kind of like got stuck after she said that thing. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, this better get out the way now. This is so much better than skip. It's faster too. Why is pressing enter just faster than skipping? Bon appetit, Tater, clean out the refrigerator, let there flies everywhere. Come on. Come on. Come on. Will you clean out the refrigerator now? Oh, I didn't even, yes. Fine, I'll handle it. You gingerly ask the Queen of Darkness to step away from the kitchen for a moment. After she does, you grab the fly-infested picnic basket and wait. Huh? Already? Jeez! A swirling portal opens before you, casting the refrigerator in a purple hue and sending shadows dancing up the walls of the kitchen. On the counter, a carton of eggs explodes, splattering the countertop with yolk. Bracing yourself, you step through the portal, picnic basket in hand. I'm already doing secret shit. The familiar wave of nausea hits you like a truck as you're plunged into velvety darkness. Squinting your eyes, you begin to make out shapes, furniture, forged from darkness, and elaborate high windows made from the same are barely discernible from their surroundings. Made from darkness, I guess? It's a little confusing sense. A familiar figure approaches you, clad in a deep red outfit. Ah, Taker, I was wondering when you'd next visit me. That makes two of us. Do you know how hard it is to get an entire room to yourself in a house filled with 9 demons? Keeping your banishment portal seated from them is almost impossible. You mean to tell me that the rest of the demons have no clue you're sneaking off to the void to visit little old me? Not that I'm aware of. Delightfully devilish, Taker, if I do say so myself. So what did you bring your favorite fly today? I made moon pies. That's twisted. Well then, to the banquet hall. The Queen Crimson leads you through the network of twisting halls and corridors that comprise much of the interior of her castle. A small conjured light sitting in Beelzebub's palm is the only source of illumination as you walk through the Stygian castle, its faint glow forcing you to walk closely behind the demoness. The castle does not seem to have been designed with conventional physics in mind. Staircases twist sideways, doors open onto blank walls, and the curtain tie bats hiss at you when you attempt to catch a glimpse of the inky blackness beyond the windows. Eventually you arrive at a massive pair of engraved doors. Standing to the immediate left of the doors is an aged skeleton practically fallen apart at the sockets. A tattered suit clings to the skeleton's frame, maintaining a small semblance of dignity despite its age. Evening, Walter. Master Taker, so good to see you again. It does my dusty heart well to see the lady with a gentleman companion after all this time. Up. Walter, servant should be seen and not heard. Of course, my lady, so sorry. His old bones creaking, Walter heaves the door to the dining hall open. Beelzebub strides past him with nary a glance. You follow closely behind her, pausing only to slip the ancient skeleton a small carton of milk stowed away in the picnic basket. Accepting it in silent gratitude, Walter closes the huge door behind you, somehow giving you a wink before disappearing out of sight behind the massive monolith of Beelzebub's industrious nature. Turning around, you examine the dining hall. Like the rest of the castle, it's huge and inky black, with details distinguishing one object from the nets only observable at the prolonged security. The small light, a soft orange glow pressing back against the glowing darkness, illuminates Beelzebub sitting at a small table nearby. Oh boy. Oh, Tater, why don't you come join me for a meal? You walk over to the table and examine it. It's made from the same hard black material as everything else in the void. The silverware are purely decorative, and you're pretty sure the napkins can be used as blunt weapons in an emergency. But don't just stand there, have a seat. Thank you. You produce the moon pies from the picnic basket and divide them equally between the two of you. Your hands have barely left their plate before Beelzebub begins scarfing down her portion with reckless enthusiasm. Incredible, so tasty. What did you say were in these? Sugar, eggs, sugar, flour, and a little sugar on top. Well, they're perfect. You do know how to treat an old fly well, don't you? I'd imagine anything tastes nice after 1,000 years of primordial suffering. So it does. So tell me, Tater, what's been going on in your life that's caused you to seek out my esteemed company? Well, you relate the long and short of everything that's happened over the past week to the exiled demon, who listens to your tale with rapt attention. As your story concludes, a slight smirk creeps its way over Beelzebub's lips. Sounds like old Lucy's got plenty of troubles on her plate. Trying to take sole control of hell was a bad idea. I told her as much before she and her high prosecutor justice casts me out. Oh well, she'll learn in time that some voices aren't as easily silenced as mine. And what about you, Taker? When the chips are down, would you stand with that imposter queen? I typically don't pay attention to the politics of hell. I couldn't even get through Game of Thrones. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have cable down here. There's only so much amusement to be extracted by putting little outfits on Walter and making him act out soap operas. I could talk to Lucifer. Maybe just let you join us for movie night if you agreed to not cause any trouble. Beelzebub wrinkles up her nose in disgust. I am not asking that usurper for anything. When I covet something, I take it by my own hand. How'd you get stuck in here to begin with, Beal? Lucifer loves to up the ante when she feels slighted, but she normally resorts to physical violence to equal someone. Well, Lucy loves to pick on the little guys, the demons and mortals that don't have the strength of will to resist her compulsion or power. She's all bark and no bite. She doesn't have the metaphysical oomph to take on an elder demon like me in a fair fight. That's why she relies on a high prosecutor to enforce her will. You still didn't answer my question, Beal. No, and I don't intend to. But I'd watch my tone if I were you, Taker. Without my portals, you can kiss any hope you have of returning to your home dimension goodbye. An awkward silence smothers the conversation for a moment. Beelzebub's implied threat hanging in the air like a cloud of blood-bloated incense. I apologize for that, Taker. You are here as my guest, and threatening you is not becoming of me as your most gracious host. I accept your apology, and don't worry. I hear a lot worse most days from Pandemonium alone. Ah, yes, I remember that girl. She was still a rebellious young demon when I was ousted. But from what I've heard, she settled down nicely. Pandemonium settled down. I'm getting pretty full. Do you want the rest of my cakes? Yes, please. The two of you spend another hour or two sharing stories and making small talk before you decide to leave. Beelzebub obligingly wills a banishment portal to the human realm into existence. Well, I guess it's goodbye then. Yes, do come again soon. It's always nice to have someone to talk to, and doubly so when they bring me treats. I'm pretty sure Walter is someone. He's a servant and a skeleton. Still, maybe give him a chance. I think he'd be eager to interact with his lady beyond simple commands. I'll give it some thought. Safe travels. You step back through the portal into the mortal realm. After a brief moment of dizziness, you find yourself back in the kitchen. Taker, where the devil are you? After thoroughly considering your options, you decide not to inform Lucifer of the events that just transpired. Some things are better left unsaid. Alright. I've never seen that one before. I played this game a little bit. I played through about half of it. So here's the question. Should we go in order? Should we... Okay, so we got Panamaka, we got Modius, we got Cerberus, Melina, Sadrada. Well, you know, since we kind of bailed on Lucifer, let's start with her. Oh, so this is gonna add like it's gonna add like we had that conversation even though we didn't. So let's just go down. Cause the thing is, we basically missed the entire setup of plot. It's supposed to be like Lucifer was like, you should really talk to the girls. There's blah blah blah, haha, such, and we didn't see that. So just act like we did, I guess. One morning, you walked into the kitchen to prepare Pandemonicas. That's going to be the hardest one for me, saying her name. One morning, you walked into the kitchen to prepare Pandemonica's coffee, only to find that the demon in question is already up and standing by the coffee maker. As the little machine sputters and spits, the bleary-eyed demon looks over at you. You can tell from her droopy gaze that she has barely registered your presence. It's painfully obvious just from how much this poor... Oh, I see. It's painfully obvious just how much this poor sleep schedule of hers is taking its toll. Without bothering to greet you, Pandemonica returns her attention to the coffee machine. From the sounds of things, she hasn't put nearly enough water in it to make a full brew. Good morning. Oh, morning. I don't remember what I did for her voice. Amidst your better judgment, you approach the sleepy demon and peer over her shoulder. jug of coffee that she's attempting to make is not even a quarter of the way full, and the machine itself has come to an almost complete stop. I was just about to make some coffee for everyone. I didn't expect you to be up so early. The demon scoffs. Early? I've been up all night. I see. You know, Pandamantra, I really think you should... If the next words out of your mouth are get some sleep, I'm going to break your fingers. You decide it was wise to hold your tongue. What kind of coffee did you put in there anyway? Pandamantra shrugs. Just some store-bought junk we had in the cabinet. Why? As you ponder the situation, you're reminded of the coffee grinder that your father sent you not too long ago. You've been waiting for the perfect moment to break it out as a surprise, and perhaps now is that moment. The thought drives you to the cabinet on the other side of the kitchen. There you keep most of your lesser-used appliances. It takes you but a moment of digging around past tabletop grills, blenders, and hand mixers before you retrieve the object of your quest. Pandamantra, whose attention has come away from the coffee maker, if only to see what all the ruckus is about, watches as you set the grinder on the counter. What do you think you're doing? I forgot it does the Zelda music. Just what in the devil is that? You'll see. From the pantry, you receive a bag of roasted coffee beans. These you measure out and pour into the grinder before setting to work crushing them down by hand. In no time, the sweet, deep aroma of freshly ground coffee fills the kitchen. Whatever it is you're doing there, don't stop because it smells astounding. After a moment, you finish up grinding the beans and turn your attention to the coffee maker itself. You dump the old grounds into the trash and wash the jug out in the sink. With a fresh filter installed, you empty the fruits of your labor into the machine, and using the appropriate amount of water this time, start up a fresh brew. At first, it seems like Pandamantra is ready to gouge your eyes for tossing her coffee, but as soon as the rich liquid begins to flow, her rage subsides. She approaches the counter and watches for a moment as the jug slowly fills with coffee. What did you do? This scent reminds me of... that coffee shop on the corner? Why, yes, that's it. When I was a kid, my dad would grind his own coffee. One of my fondest memories from then is how I'd get to wake up to that smell filling the house every morning. So the other day I decided to pick up a bag of beans from that place in the corner. I know how much you like the coffee, so I thought I'd bring them to you. Fortunately, I didn't know exactly which flavor you like, so I just got you the basic stuff. I hope you enjoy it. That was unnecessary of you to do, but I do appreciate it. I'm glad to hear that. If you'd like, we can go there sometime. We can go there together sometime. You can show me some of your favorite flavors. I'm sure it'd be nice to have those around the house. Yes, that would be nice. Very well, I'll take you up on your offer. It's a date then. That afternoon, you and Pandamantra decide to skip dinner in favor of your date, much to the chagrin of Lucifer, who complained loudly that no one ever sits around when it's her turn to cook dinner. Knowing better than to argue, you grab your coats and smile and nod your way out the door. Keys in hand, you ponder the distance to the coffee shop. It isn't far, so walking is certainly not out of the question. Hey, Pandamantra? We could drive there, but what do you say we walk instead? It is a bit of a brisk day for a walk ride, perhaps. But yes, I think that sounds good. The demon leads the way, and the two of you head down the street in relative silence. I gotta determine a difference between her voice and Lucifer's, because I'm starting to do them both an accent, and I don't want to do that. It is a quiet day filled with only the sounds of your footsteps and the occasional passing vehicle. You arrive at the coffee shop just as the sun starts to set over the horizon, a slight orange tinge painting the sky. A tiny bell chimes to herald your entrance. You are assailed by the familiar, deep, rich smells of freshly ground coffee, and there is a hushed murmur emanating from the smattering of patrons dotted through the shop. An old man behind the counter looks up at you. At the sight of Pandamantra, he beams. There she is, my favorite customer. Good evening, Hank. How are you? I am well, my dear. Very well. What can I get you today? I'll take the usual. Coming right up. And how about yourself, sir? Coffee, please. Black. Aha, simple fellow. I like that. You two find a seat and make yourselves at home. I'll bring you your drinks over when they're ready. You and Panamon just scan the room for a place to sit. How about over there? The demoness gestures to a booth next to the roast coffee display. You nod, and Panamonto leads the way through the maze of tightly packed tables and booths. Just as you take your seats, the old man arrives and sets your drinks in front of you. Enjoy! You thank the man and sip from your coffees. After a few moments of idle chit-chat, you turn your attention toward the nearby display. So if you had to pick, which ones out of that group there are your favorites? Pandamantra eyes the badge, reading each label in turn. Well, I must admit I'm quite partial to the darker roasts. For me, anything with deep, rich flavor is a win, really. But if you're looking for specifics, I quite like that dark chocolate hazelnut there. I see. So you're a fan of chocolate-flavored coffees? But of course, who doesn't like chocolate? Fair point. How about that one right there? Toasted almond. Yes, I do think that would be a good choice as well. I like a good nutty flavor. The demon grins at you as she sips her drink. Her tail flits to and fro behind her, and you notice that her horns have nearly doubled in size. You chuckle nervously. You're quick to bring your conversation back to the coffee display, and the two of you spend the next half hour discussing the various roasts until your own cup runs dry. You ponder fetching a refill for you both, but just then you notice Pandamantra acting strangely. Oh boy. Though imperceptible at first, you can clearly see that the demon is wincing, much in the same way one might if they heard a loud noise. But unless you have suddenly become hard of hearing, the shop around you is nearly silent. By now, everyone has gone home, leaving just yourselves and Hank, who is humming to himself as he wipes down some tables across the room. You think it's strange that such a noise would irritate the demon, but when you look at her again, her expression is weary and she's rubbing her temples, not her templates. Shall we call it a day? Pandamantra doesn't respond. Pandamantra? Oh, yes. Yes, I think that'll be good. Thank you. You gather up your things and don your jackets. On your way out the door, you grab a few bags of coffee and pay for them at the counter. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you both again soon. You depart with several bags of various roast coffee dangling from your arm. For the entire walk back, neither of you say a word. Panamanta looks as miserable and exhausted as ever, which leaves you wondering if she even enjoyed herself tonight. But as you arrive at the front door, the demon stops and tugs on your sleeve. Hey. Hey? I feel I must thank you again for today. What you did this morning was very kind, and this evening I got to enjoy a bit of peace and quiet, which is a rare occasion. I hope we can do something like this again sometime, maybe. I think I really needed it, and I'm sorry for the way I acted at the end there. You start to question Pandamantra about her strange behavior, but before you can even form the words, she hurries off into the house. Though you attempt to follow, all you manage to catch is a glimpse of her disappearing into her room, and the door shutting neatly behind her. You're left wondering what you should do next. That's one down. I actually don't know how long this game is, so we're definitely not going to finish it today, I don't think, but we didn't get through a good chunk. Oh, I gotta figure out Modius's voice too. One morning, you're walking through the house with a tray full of pancakes to rouse everyone for breakfast. On your way, you run into Modius in the upstairs hallway. Good morning, Taker. Good morning, Modius. Modius? Pancakes? Yes, please, I'm starving. Help yourself. By the way, have you seen Lucifer? I believe she's still in bed. Figures. Anyhow, enjoy your breakfast. Thank you. As the demon turns to leave and you set your sights on Lucifer's bedroom, you feel a crinkle in your back pocket. The sensation reminds you of something that you've been meaning to ask. Well, I got a sneeze coming on, I think. But actually, before you go, I had something I wanted to ask you. Yes? With one arm balancing the tray, you dig around in your back pocket and come up with a small envelope. You hand it to Modius. The demoness looks over it carefully. What is this? Open it. With her finger, Modius splits open the top of the envelope and pulls out 2 slips of paper. And these are vouchers for a trip to the spa. I won a contest some time ago, and those just came in the mail the other day. The spa trip sounds lovely. Would you like to go with me then? I've got 2 vouchers there. After you say this, the demon's cheeks redden so suddenly and so vibrantly that her complexion soon resembles that of a ripe tomato. You want me to go with you? Oh my. Is that all right? No. I mean, yes. I mean, what does this spa trip entail exactly? Anything you want, really. Let's see, they've got massages, manicures, pedicures, sauna, acupuncture. Well, I just don't know what to say. If you aren't interested in going, I completely understand. Yes. Wait, no. No, I do want to go. I do. I just, it's so... Yes, Taker, I'd love to go to the spa with you. Though uncertain, given the demon's ramblings, you think that she accepted your date. Alright then. Sounds good. How about we leave after breakfast? Still blushing, Modius nods furiously. Very well, I'll see you then. As you turn to go, the demon scampers off down the stairs with the tickets in hand while you proceed with your morning rounds. Sometime later, after you've successfully delivered pancakes to everyone in the house, you and Modius hop in the car for your afternoon at the spa. After a short drive, you arrive in front of an extravagant building that has been stylized to look like a Japanese bathhouse. You park the car and turn to see Modius looking up at the building with a frown. Then, as you turn off the engine, you are privy to the sound of her drumming her fingers on her knees. You've never seen the demon look so out of sorts. You watch her fidget in her seat for a while longer before thinking it's best to say something. Modius? Modius doesn't reply at first. Modius? Oh, sorry. Got a little lost in thought there. Thoughts all alone, even. Is everything alright? Again, the demoness doesn't seem to hear you. Modius. What's that? Sorry, did you say something? I was just asking if you're feeling alright. Me? Oh, yes, I'm fine. Ready to head inside? Not quite yet. You seem a bit... Before you finish your thought, you can hear the car door shut and look up to see Modius walking listlessly toward the spa. With a sigh, you get out the car and follow the demon. Unconvinced that everything is fine, you nevertheless decide to leave that conversation for later. Doesn't seem like you'll get a straight answer out of her just yet anyway. For now, all you can do is keep an eye on her just in case. The 2 of you make your way inside the spa and approach the counter. Hello, we'd like to redeem these vouchers. The woman behind the desk takes your vouchers and looks them over. Congratulations, Mr. Taker. Now, before redeeming these vouchers, we do offer a brief tour of our facilities if you'd like. You turn to Modius to see if she would like some say in the matter, but the demon still seems uneasy. Maybe this tour will help her relax? A tour would be lovely, thank you. Excellent, now if you'll just follow me. You and Modius trail behind the woman as she guides you down the hallways, briefly describing each facility as you pass. From acupuncture to massages and heated bathhouses to saunas, it seems that the spa has everything you could ask for. There's so much, in fact, that by the end of it all, you're absolutely overwhelmed by the choices. So, now that you've had our tour, have you decided on what you'd like to put your vouchers toward? We'd like to do the couple's massage. Startled, you glance over at Modius to see only resolute determination in her heart-shaped eyes. Yes. A couple's massage is good. Right this way. Though stunned at this turn of events, and Modius' sudden vocality, you follow the woman down the hall and into a room with 2 massage tables set side by side. There are towels on the table over there. If you both would just disrobe and lay down on the tables, the masseuse will be with you shortly. The woman disappears and you look over at Modius, expecting to see her nervously staring back at you. What you are met with instead is the sight of her standing stark naked before you, having just completely in a few short moments since the spell worker left the room. Out of modesty, you quickly avert your gaze, but now without taking note of the startling contrast between the comfortable aura emanating off of Modius now and the nervous energy he exhibited before. Aura emanating is a tough couple of words. As you begin to disrobe as well, you hear the demoness settle onto one of the massage tables with a heavy and content sigh. You follow suit, and shortly thereafter, the masseuse arrives. After some idle small talk, the woman begins to work. With a display of dexterity and strength you once thought impossible, the masseuse descends upon the muscles of your neck and back, undoing knots you didn't even know you had before. After each satisfyingly painful release, the woman switches between you and Modius, giving you each time to breathe. Has anyone ever told you that you run a bit warm, dear? Do I? Must be the climate I'm used to. Oh, where are you from? Hell. Oh. At this, the woman chuckles nervously. You cannot tell if she is truly undeterred by the revelation or if she thinks it's all a joke. In any case, the massage continues without much of a lull. She returns to you to work through the last few knots in your upper back. Then, much to your chagrin, the massage is over. The masseuse leaves the room so that the two of you can get dressed. As you leave, you stop by the front counter to turn in your vouchers. Modius beats you to the car. As you slide into your seat, you look to your companion and notice that she's avoiding your gaze, and has resumed drumming on your knees. Wishing you knew what it was that was putting her all out of sorts, you pondered questioning her further. Seeing the shy redness coloring Modius' cheeks, however, causes you to rethink that decision. Instead, you start up the car and head home. Perhaps that's a conversation for another day. Oh, my throat. Okay, that's 2. This is Soiboris. Out of the way! A black and white blur attempts to shoot past you into the living room, only to stop halfway through the door. The shape resolves into 3 young women with white hair, all stuck cartoonishly within the door frame, and madly scrabbling over one another in an attempt to get free. A piece of rolled up pancake oozing chocolate pokes out of the corner of one of their mouths. Noticing your gaze, the other 2 quickly position themselves in front of their third member as best they can, shielding her from your view. Ah, Master, we were just on our way to go outside and play, yeah. You were? After judgment grounded you for what you did to the mailman? We were only doing what Modi suggested. She always comes up with the best games. I've warned you before about taking Modius' advice when it comes to humans. Speaking of, I received a call from the hospital. It seems the mailman's pelvis is healing quite nicely, and once we finish paying his rehab bills, he won't be pressing any further charges. Oh, that's great, Master. No, if you wouldn't mind helping us out. A furious voice echoes from the kitchen, cutting Cerberus off mid-sentence. What the hell happened in here? Where are my pancakes? There's paw prints all over the counter. Ah, where is that thrice-blasted good-for-nothing mongrel Cerberus? Cerberus cringes at the sound and renews her attempts to free herself from her predicament. Oh crap, she's really angry, Master. Now'd be a really good time to go for our daily walk. Well, I suppose I could use a little fresh air. Yay, quickly now, go, before she sees us. Aha, there you are. Cerberus' eyes go blank in immortal terror, but she managed to free herself from the doorway, slamming the door behind her. That Looney Tunes ass sound effect. You and Cerberus made a mad dash to the car, and you leave a respectable strip of melted rubber on the driveway as you peel out onto the road. Phew, that was a close one. Yeah, we thought we were done for sure. Oh, done for sure. You might still be. Lucifer rarely forgives and never forgets. You should have stolen one of Justice's pancakes. She's usually the one who indulges your pranks. Yeah, but there's no danger in that. And therefore, no fun. It's not our fault you and Lucy go halsies on that huge sticky dust shoved up your ass. Watch it. I can still turn this car back around. That seems to sober them up. So, where are we going? I hadn't really thought about it. I guess we'll find out when we get there. Oh, we love surprises. The three of them spend the duration of the ride clustered around the window, eagerly and energetically commenting on everything they can see. After a short while, you arrive at a destination. All right, here we are. Oops, sorry, 1 second. 1 second, gotta return a text. One second. This is a park. Sure is. It should be a safe distance away from the house. We'll wait out Lucifer's tempter here. Oh, I'm losing Helltaker's voice. Come on. Oh my gosh, we haven't been here in days. You know how long that is in Cerberus years? You're not certain of the exact conversion rates, but it seems safe to assume lots of zeros are involved. Come on, let's go. We want to play. As you all exit, Cerberus's bodies come tumbling head over heels from the bus. Her irrepressible excitement not about to let something like patience or demeanor get in between her and the open expanse of grass surrounding you. Park, yay! Water break. Cerberus madly dashes to and from across the park, sniffing trees, uprooting plants, and chases scrolls of trees. With some relief, you notice she still hasn't quite figured out how to climb up after them. Her collective energy never ceases to amaze me. The park is relatively empty with no other humans in sight. A blessing, where Cerberus is involved, as it means you don't have to intervene on any of her activities to save innocent civilians. In fact, she seems perfectly happy to be left to her own devices, until... Master! There's a weird-smelling person over there. They got a creepy cloak and everything. You can just make out the figure lounging in the shade of an old birch tree some 50 yards away. They're probably just taking their dog out for a walk. Best leave them to it. Okay, we'll keep an eye on them for you, okay? I'm not worried. Cerberus continues to frolic in the grass, but keeps one pair of her three sets of eyes on the cloaked figure until the stranger seems to catch the hint and retreats into the recesses of the trees. Aw, so cute. As the sun reaches its zenith, standing in its full light becomes uncomfortably warm. You sit down under the obligingly shady branches of an elm and are eventually joined by a thoroughly exhausted Cerberus. All three bodies curl up in a pile next to you, and the soft sounds of their snoring are almost sweet enough to give you diabetes. Your hand wanders from head to head, gently petting Cerberus's sleek white hair as she dozes. You let yourself relax, and the warm summer air slowly lulls you to sleep. You awake to a slight tickling feeling on your right hip. Eyes still closed, you wonder if some small creature perhaps crawled into your pocket while you slept and was now trying to find its way out. Squatting next to you with their shrouded eyes laser focused on their task, the cloaked stranger from earlier delicately works your wallet even further out of your pocket, their gloved, long-fingered hands tickling your thigh with their subtle movements. They're so focused on removing your wallet, they don't even notice your strong fingers until you've wrapped them around the arm currently fishing around in your pocket. Oh, hold up. Let's take things nice and slowly here. Maybe you buy me dinner first? Damnations! In a blur of speed, her free arm shoots across your... Second take. In a blur of speed, her free arm shoots across your body, pressing a knife lightly against the base of your throat. I really hate doing things this way. I'm going to take what I came for. Just relax. There's no need to make a scene here. Wait just a bit. The knife presses a little more firmly into your neck. I don't recall asking for your opinion, just your wallet. You are suddenly filled with an overwhelming desire to let this mysterious mugger have your wallet. Slowly, careful not to antagonize the hand pressing a sharp blade into your neck, you release your fingers from the stranger's arm. As the stranger extracts your wallet, a small hand flashes out to hold their arm in a vice-like grip. You look down to see Cerberus, her eyes blazing, holding the would-be mugger's knife arm with fury blazing in her scarlet eyes. Steadily, she forces the mugger's hand away from your neck. Her other two bodies crouch, ready to leap into action if needed. Mr. Stranger, I'm afraid you just messed with the wrong guy. See, Master Tater, he's nice enough, but us, we really don't like people waltzing in and taking what isn't theirs. Especially when they look as creepy as you do and smell so... Her eyes narrow, focused on intent on a still hooded figure. The two bodies not currently holding on to the mugger stiffen and sniff the air intently. Hold on. Sniff, sniff. Wait, you're... Sniff, sniff. With a sudden howl of fury, all three of Cerberus's bodies pounce on the stranger, knocking them backwards and onto the ground. Ow, hey, stop it! Ow! Get out of here. And if you smell your ass close to 3 blocks from my house, I'll kick you straight back to the void myself. Understand? This isn't over, mutt. Cerberus roars again, and the stranger bids a hasty retreat into the lengthening shadows of the park. You and Cerberus watch as the stranger vanishes into the darkness. Turning to you as if nothing had just happened, Cerberus beams a sunny smile directly into your face. Good thing you remembered to apply your triple strength SPF, adorable, before you left the house. Can we go home soon? I'm hungry. What do you say? In a moment. First, though, what exactly was that all about? What was what all about? What just happened back there? Did you know that person who tried to butt me? What? Don't be crazy. This is definitely the first time we've seen her. Absolutely. 100%. Her? I couldn't tell it was a woman from the voice alone. Oh. Perhaps it's better to let sleeping dogs lie, or lying dogs sleep, as the case may be. Regardless, I am very grateful that you protected me, Cerberus. Thank you. Of course, Master. Who else would make those pancakes if you got hurt? Good behavior deserves positive reinforcement. I think a reward of some sort is in order. Yay! Now I did outside processes at night, right? A sudden image flashes before your eyes. The town burning to the ground while Cerberus and Zedrata, high as kites, loot flaming appliances from shattered storefronts. No. But I will stop by the store on the way back home and refill our baking ingredients. We'll do some stealth baking and then you can give Lucifer some almond cookies as a peace offering. Deal? Deal. Cerberus is odd and exhausting, but her happiness is delightfully infectious. Maybe I should take him out more often. That was a weird POV shift. Okay. Next is Melina. Gamer girl. Oop. Come on. Yeah, there you go. You pull down the trapdoor that leads to the attic and are almost immediately assailed by the sharp scent of strong liquor. So much alcohol has evaporated into the air of the attic that breathing it in makes your head spin. Bottles lie strung across the otherwise well-cleaned room, with the exception being the wooden desk in the far corner of the room, squatting upon which is a large black computer. Slouching on an old leather couch at an angle incompatible with long-term bat health, Melina scowls peevishly at you from heavy-lidded eyes. Taker, it's a bit early for a visit, isn't it? It's 12:30. Did I stutter? If there's daylight, then it's still too early for me to be awake. Shielding her eyes from the faint few streams of natural daylight filtering in through her curtains, Melina groans. Pass me that bottle, will you? The Istvan one? You grab the requested bottle of Uncle Istvan's hermit juice off a nearby coffee table and walk over to Melina. You sit down next to the demon and hand her the bottle. Pulling the cork out with her teeth, she sucks the bottle dry of liquor in 3 deep swigs, tossing it carelessly behind her and into the garbage can. From the clattering of bottle against bottle, you conclude that the bin hasn't been emptied in quite some time. That, or Melina fills it with extreme prejudice. So tell me, why exactly are you up here disturbing my beauty slump at such a dreadful hour? I have a package for you. Shit. That better not be a euphemism for something. I'm not quite wasted enough for that kind of interaction. Nope. Ship it. Judging from the shape, I'm pretty sure it's one of the games you just ordered. Eyes suddenly shining, Melina leans forward and snatches the brown wrap package from you. She rips the top off the package with her teeth and rummages around inside her with her free hand. She extracts a slim case from inside. Oh, hell yeah! It's that copy of Hero Commander 3 that I ordered. I've been waiting all week to play this thing. I hear the AI is almost unbeatable at higher levels. Hold up. You're telling me that there are games out there harder than Vantage Master? Melina flashes a smirk at you that's half patronizing, half pitying. Oh yes, you've no idea. That reminds me, Taker, are we still on for our game session tonight? I'm just dying to take this game out for a spin. Games with a melancholic alcoholic? Sounds like fun. Well, that's something to look forward to anyway. One more thing. Could you pick up some tobacco before tonight? I want to try making something new. I got you your booze. Now let's see this new drink. Alright, 1 second. Taking the bottle and turning her back to you, Melina walks over to the corner of the attic where she has laid out various implements of cocktail craft as delicately as a surgeon would a set of scalpels. She busies herself back still to you as she misses and pours liquid between two glasses. And here it is, the green iguana. It's nauseatingly green and looks cartoonishly radioactive. A thin line of white crystals lines the glass Melina is brandishing expectantly at you. Thanks. Carefully, you take a sip of the lurid drink. It's actually really good. How is it? It's delicious. The salt rim offsets the sweetness just enough to keep the fruity tones under control. Melina swishes the drink around in her own glass, sans rim. Yeah, that's what I've read. So, Moran, why didn't you put a rim on your glass? I can't. Salt gets demons pretty fucked up, and not at all in a fun way. I thought that was just hearsay. Nope. It's real, alright. Damn painful, too. I once saw Zadrada try to snort a line of the kosher stuff, and knocked her flat on her ass for weeks. She couldn't even talk without shooting blood from both nostrils like some stupid cartoon character. She pauses for a moment, thinking to herself. Best 2 weeks of my life, actually. She downs her drink and then holds out her empty hand. Here, I'll make up some more while you move the computer over to the couch. As Melina pours another drink for the two of you at her improvised bar, you walk across the room and easily pull the table and computer over to the couch before sitting back down. Melina joins you a moment later, handing you a refill before flicking the computer on and inserting the game into the disc reader. The game boots up, backed by dramatic orchestral music we didn't have the budget to compose for this game. We're starting on hard difficulty, right? Like there's any other rational option. Damn straight. Now, are we playing on campaign or maybe survival mode would be better? Look, even as a versus mode. Hard pass on that one. Competition isn't worth the bridges burned, trust me on that. Survival then. That way if you die early on, I get a turn. I don't want to let that happen. Hope you're comfortable sitting there, Chief, because it's going to be a long time for you to get your turn in. True to her word, Melina plays the game like the seasoned veteran she is. And she cruises through the early game like a battleship on steroids until... Goddamn quicksand! Why the developers would even consider implementing a hazard that kills units on contact with absolutely no warning is beyond me. My turn then. Any sage advice? Yeah, get good or get off and let me try again. You do neither, and the two of you spend the next several hours in the attic routinely swearing at the game in turn. As the nights begin to wrap up, the two of you slump sideways more and more until you're resting shoulder to shoulder on the couch. It should have been me! So, how does Hero Commander 3 compare to the others we've played? The difficulty isn't all it's cracked up to be, and the story may as well have been written by a chimp with a typewriter for all the shits I give. Sounds like you got something of a pattern going. What's that supposed to mean? You've done nothing but complain about the last few games you've gotten. I'm starting to think you're not actually enjoying them. These last few game nights we've had all ended the same way too. With you getting mad, the game is spending a couple days salting before you set your heart on a new game and we do the whole thing over again. So you're saying you don't want to play games with me anymore? That's fine, I'm perfectly capable of enjoying myself without your big dumb face taped on my peripheral vision. It's not that. I enjoy playing games with you. It's actually quite the welcome relief from the rest of the house. I'd just like to include a little more variety in our time together, that's all. I suppose your taste isn't complete garbage. I guess I'd be willing to let you play in the next night. But whatever you find, it better have screens, booze, and not be public. If you can find anything that checks all 3 boxes, I'll give it a shot. Deal. And whatever you pick, it better not be fucking Dance Dance Revolution. That shit's way too kinky for me. You'll have to give this some thought, unless you want the majority of your interactions with Melina to take place in a still added playing obscure video games. Another one down. I think up next is her sister, right? Yep. We got Zdrada, then Zazel, then Justice, then Lucifer. What voice am I to do for her? Zdrada stands idly in the living room, smoking a cigarette from her seemingly never-ending supply. Lazily, she exhales a great cloud of smoke, letting it disperse before acknowledging your presence. Hey there, Taker. How's it hanging? Well enough. Would you mind explaining why you haven't taken out the garbage yet? Because I didn't want to? Who do you think you're talking to? Currently, a spoiled child. Me? A child? I'm not the one that sits around playing video games all day or shits on the neighbor's lawn when they won't let her play with their cat. But you are the one who consistently refuses to do the most basic of chores. If you want to ride someone's ass that badly, don't talk to Modius. I'm sure she'd be down for it. This is non-negotiable, unless you're willing to sacrifice your pancake privileges. Hey, shit, Tater, I got a better idea. How about instead of making me trade out the trash, you just take me out instead? Unless you're misreading the situation, Zdrada actually wants to go on a date? Nothing good can possibly come of this. Yeah, sure, what's the worst that could happen? Nice. I did to pick the date side, right? Absolutely not. Now, if you don't mind, I've got your job to do. So, Tater, where are we heading? We could head to the local smokers bar, up for a little smoking joke. Can't. Last time I went there, you got thrown out for playing knifey finger with the regulars. And I fucking beat the house record. You do know the object of that game is to avoid cutting yourself, right? Yeah, if you play by your pussy mortal rules, that wasn't enough for blue balling myself just to win a game. That's more Malinka's shit. You worry me. Despite her provocative attitudes, the Zdrada's company isn't entirely unpleasant. As you walk down the street, your conversation is anything but banal. Zdrada seems to delight in taking life itself down a peg. Anything crossing her path she can't roast verbally, you have to step in to prevent her from roasting literally. Finally, you arrive at your destination. Well, here we are. Really? But this looks like a greenhouse? A fucking greenhouse? You were the person who was so eager to neglect her job. Now you get to tell me with mine. Lucifer's been complaining about the decor in the house and asked me to pick out something colorful to brighten up the place. But does it have to be plants? If you gave me some time, I could get you a nice goat, properly arrange this little bastard and really color a place up. You really don't want to know what she's talking about. We're sitting with plants for now. Probably something easy to take care of, like a Borvidae or a Hedera Helix. Check out Mr. Big Word Botany Nerd over here. You ever gonna learn how to show me a good time? If being here is that insufferable, then find me a suitable plant. I promise to leave as soon as we have what we came for. Fine. But after this, you and me are heading to town property here. Bored, Zdrada wanders off between the rows of plants, aggressively belching clouds of smoke in the faces of innocent shoppers that stray too close to her. That's the wrong version of 2. You content yourself with examining the ferns until... Hey, Tater, you gotta check this shit out. Turning, you see Zdrada aggressively brandishing a small cactus at you. What's the matter? You did tell me you had plants like this in the mortal world. It's just a cactus. You don't have them in hell? Nah, the ones we have in hell are fucking massive, and they're covered in hollow needles that stab your body and suck out your... I think I get the picture. But what's with the enthusiasm? I didn't have you pinned as a botanist. As if. You're telling me you don't see the bedroom application of this little sucker? To be honest, you're kind of glad you never considered it. And you certainly can't wait to never consider it again as soon as possible. Well, if you're interested in taking care of it, and promise not to bring it anywhere near the bed, I suppose you can have it. Cyrano's up her nose in distress. Me? Take care of it? Hard pass on that front. Better put it back then. The demon girl once more retreats into the depths of the store, muttering obscenities and curses under her breath. You return to browsing and eventually call over an attendant to press for questions. The dull-eyed assistant saunters up to you. Judging from the look on her face, he's even less happy about being here than Zadrada. A small tad pinned to her lapel has Abby written on it in smudged ink. Yeah, can I help you or something? I'm looking for something hardy, a plant that can survive multiple attempts on its life, preferably fire and dot-proof, and if it can survive being watered with cheap vodka, that's also a plus. The assistant scowls, considering your question, her answer comes slowly, almost reluctantly. I don't know, man. I just started this job, and I don't have the patience to learn all this stuff. But I know one of my roommates keeps a golden pothos that just refused to die. I've seen her chuck that bad boy out of a third-story window, and it didn't seem particularly bothered. Sounds like the level of chaos in our house. Oh, I see. Sounds like the level of chaos in our house lives is quite similar. Abby casts a sidelong glance towards the far end of the greenhouse, where Zadrada can barely be seen behind a towering stack of potted plants. The few flowers visible from the bottom containers appear to be bedding for the sweet release of death, as Zadrada balances another armful of pots in the precarious stack. Abby looks away before the inevitable crash and nods in sullen agreement. More than you think. You try to maintain eye contact with Abby despite the general bedlam going on behind her. I think the pothos should do fine. Would you mind showing me where you keep them? I have a feeling the sooner we get out of here, the better off everyone will be. Before she can answer, the automatic sprinklers lining the roof of the greenhouse kicks in, spraying you and Abby with icy water. Billowing black smoke of burned vegetation spews forth from one of the far aisles as orange-red flames look over one of the far display tables. From out of nowhere, Zadrada appears beside you, tugging at your arm. Man, it's such a shame about this place. Yeah, it's such a nice, finds. But we should probably leave for, safety. You and I are going to have a talk about this later. The two of you manage to make it out of the greenhouse before it goes up in smoke. Briefly, you wonder how you could have ever expected a different outcome. Well, now that that's over and done with, you still up for going out into town? I suppose so. What's it to be? Helltaker, I'm so glad you asked. What follows is a series of entirely unique yet equally horrifying social indiscretions. By day's end, you have broken both your Take two. What follows is a series of entirely unique yet equally horrifying social indiscretions. By day's end, you have broken both your records of most bars visited in one day and most bars forcibly evicted from in the same day. Clutching each other for balance, the two of you stumble back to the house at an ungodly hour. This late at night, there's only one member of the house reliably awake. Melina sits in a darkened living room, heavy-lidded eyes that only by the blue light emanating from the television she's glued to herself to. You know, Malinka, you really shouldn't be up this late. All this blue light it'll make your tits go flat. Melina sighs in exasperation and pauses her game, turning to face her sister. Taking a swig from the paper-wrapped bottle beside her, she steadies herself. You got something to say, Zadrada? Say it before you pass out in a puddle of your own sick. Hey, Malinka, check out this shit I picked up for you in town. From seemingly nowhere, Zadrada produces the small cactus from earlier and lobs it underarm to Melina, who barely manages to catch it in time. Careful, that little bastard's almost as prickly as you are. I figured you'd be a perfect match for each other. She and as the rest of us are out living large and taking charge while you're sitting here dry as a desert. Go back to hell and leave me in peace. Melina chucks the cactus into the empty trash bin where the pot shatters, sending straight clods of dirt, and shards of ceramic flying. Hey, what the fuck? I lifted that thing for you. So, cry me a river. I don't recall asking for something to take care of. Wasn't it your job once upon a time? Sudrada grimaces and turns away, taking open the back door as she returns to the abandoned RV parked in your backyard. You can hear her clicking her fingers as she goes, attempting to conjure a light for a new cigarette. You hope she doesn't set fire to the recreational vehicle, but are far too unsteady to really do anything about it. You leave Melina to her games and crawl upstairs to bed. Alright, up next is Zazel or Judgment? Zazel. Judgment is last. Well, no. There'll be Judgment, then it'll be... Got it. Okay, now I find a voice for her. Late one night, you're dragging yourself to bed after you, Modius, Panama, and Melina sat down for an impromptu movie marathon. Oh, that's so cute. You notice a bright light spilling out into the hallway from the crack underneath Zazel's door. With a groan, you make your way over and knock on her door. From inside, you hear the momentary shuffling of papers before a small voice answers you. Yes? Who is it? There's something about the angel's chipper tone that makes you question your own sanity, let alone hers. Zazel, you do realize how late it is, don't you? All of a sudden, the door swings open and Zazel stands before you. Though you can tell from the distant look in her eyes that she hasn't slept a wink, the angel seems unfazed by that fact. Oh, hello there, Mr. Taker. Goodness me, is it that late already? I should be getting to bed, shouldn't I? Yes, you should. Against your better judgment, you look past Zazel and peer into the messy room behind her. While you wouldn't describe the space as being typically tidy, there is something extra chaotic about the state of it tonight that caused you to worry for the angel's mental state. What are you working on in there anyway? Oh, my thesis. Zazel turns to look at her mess of scattered papers and leaning towers of books with a strange sense of pride in her voice. Your thesis? Indeed. I have this theory that there is a way to classify everything in existence. I see. And how have you arrived at this idea? As soon as the words leave your lips, you immediately regret them at once, as Zazel's eyes begin to shimmer with excitement. Before Ethan escapes, he draws in a deep breath in preparation for what you can only imagine is an incredibly lengthy explanation. Well, you see, I first intended to focus solely on non-living things that are made of physical matter, but then I realized that doing so would force me to contend with a plethora of questions regarding the quantification of life. And I, personally, am simply not interested in answering such inquiries, so I expanded my research to include living things as well. That whole conundrum, of course, got me thinking, maybe there is an argument to be made that I'm ignoring the fourth dimension entirely. In that case, shouldn't I try to include things that once existed as well as things that are yet to exist? I suppose. And while I'm at it, I really shouldn't discriminate when it comes to things that exist only within our plane of reality. That's, say, heaven, hell, and the world in between. So need I include things from all the realms? Wait, you mean to tell me that there are other... You know what? Never mind. What I'm gathering is this. You aim to find a way to put everything, all living and non-living things that exist in the past, present, and future from all realms of existence into a comprehensive classification system. Yep. And that is why you're awake at 3 in the morning. Yep. Feeling the approach of an imminent headache, you begin to massage your temples. That's quite the undertaking, Zazel. Don't you think you'd be better prepared to tackle it if you perhaps got some rest? There's no time for rest, Mr. Tater. If I plan to get my thesis finished this millennia, I must spend as much time as I can working. Very well. And how about this? There's a museum in the city that has a whole slew of exhibits that I'm sure would be perfect for your research. If you promise to go to bed, I'll take you there tomorrow. At the mere mention of the museum, Zazel's eyes become as wide as saucers. Do you really mean it, Mr. Tater? I do. Now, do we have a deal? Too right we do. Good night, Mr. Tater. And with that, Azazel shuts the door in your face, leaving you standing alone in the shadowy hallway, quite stunned and yet, in a way, satisfied. As you make your way to your own bed, you peek over your shoulder just in time to see the light in the angel's room click off, plunging the corridor into total darkness. True to your word, you're up early the next morning, dressed and ready to take Azazel to the museum. Before you even so much as knock on the angel's door, it swings open and Azazel is there, notepad in hand, bouncing on her heels with elation. Museum time? Museum time. The both of you load up into the car and set off for the city. Though the museum is a fair distance away, Azazel turns what would otherwise be a long, quiet, and perhaps to some, boring drive into one filled with a nauseatingly thorough lecture around every intimate detail of her thesis and the research that she has done thus far. With each passing moment, you feel as though your very presence in the universe is shrinking. Fortunately, just as Azazel is about to launch into a discussion around quantum physics and the fourth dimension, you arrive at your destination. As you shut off the engine, you turn to see your companion brimming with excitement. Before you can leave the car, however, you clear your throat to grab her attention. Hey, Azazel? What is it, Mr. Taker? Listen, I just want you to know that I understand there have been a lot of changes lately, but with you and everyone else moving in all at once, you know, it's just a lot to get used to. Sure, I suppose, but I don't understand what I'm trying to say is that I'm here for you if you ever need to talk about anything, you know? If something is bothering you, you don't have to, you know, keep it all bottled up. Is this because of how late I was up last night? Well, yes. Oh, I see. The angel sighs and her shoulders sad. It is as if every ounce of her joyous energy has left her all at once. You've never seen her look so downtrodden before. You must think I'm weird too. No, I suppose I can't blame you. I mean, not many people get quite as excited about research as I do. It's just that I'm really passionate, you know? I didn't think that was a bad thing. Azazel. If you want the truth, Mr. Taker, I've never felt happier than when I came to live with you. Being around you guys, it's like I have a family. People who accept me unconditionally, even if some aspects of me are a little odd. And because of that, I've had the comfort and freedom to pursue the things that mean the most to me. Anyway, thanks for driving me to the museum. You can come and pick me up later. Azazel, wait. I feel as though I owe you an apology. I can see that my assumptions have hurt your feeling, and for that, I am sorry. I hope you'll believe me when I say that I don't find your curiosity strange or off-putting. I only said what I said because I was worried about you. If you'll permit me, I would like to make amends in any way that I can. We've got a full day to explore this museum and a lot of research yet to do, so tell me, how can I help? Azazel looked at you skeptically. Though it's clear that she wants to believe you, you nevertheless see traces of hurt behind her clear blue eyes. Do you mean that? I do. The angel nods, accepting your apology. Very well. Come, let's see what the museum has in store for us. You get out of the car and follow Azazel up to the museum. Inside, you're immediately presented with a directory that covers an entire wall. From the looks of things, there's so much in this museum that it will be impossible to get through all of it in one day. Nevertheless, you are determined to cover as much ground as possible with the time that you have. Oh, so cute. With Azazel leading the way, you spend the next several hours hopping from one exhibit to the next. As you make your way through, the angel fills notebook after notebook with her findings. As the day approaches its end, you have no less than 2 armfuls of filled notebooks between you. Oh, I see. As the day approaches its end, you have no less than 2 armfuls of filled notebooks between you. You've never seen someone write so much so quickly. After glancing at the clock, you turn to Azazel. We've got 1 hour left. Just enough time to hit one more exhibit. So what'll it be? There. Azazel points at an art exhibit of all things. Oh, I see. Azazel points at an art exhibit of all things. One which, much like the rest of the museum, sees precious little in the way of foot traffic. The sign over the entrance reads Renaissance. With a shrug, you follow the angel inside. Once there, you are surrounded by white walls, marble floors, and massive well-lit paintings. As you peruse the art, you cannot help but notice that Azazel is particularly enthralled by one piece in particular. At first, you think nothing of it, but soon you hear her calling over the curator. Yeah. Pardon me, sir, but I'd like to ask you about this piece here. Why, yes, ma'am. What would you like to know? Are you aware that this piece in particular is a forgery? All of a sudden, the murmur that once permeated throughout the throughout the gallery is strangled into silence. What few patrons lingered nearby gasped at the revelation. You nearly dropped the notebooks in your arm as you hurry over to where Zazel and the curator are standing. When you arrive, you notice that the curator is turning a vivacious shade of violet. I implore you to reconsider this accusation, miss. What for? I'm not lying. Why, you're a twin step in between Azazel and the mounting rage of the art curator. The fact that you tower over the man seems to do well to subside his anger for the moment. Please relax, sir. I promise you she means no harm. The curator sputters. No harm? Did you hear what she said about my gallery? I did. And you honestly mean to tell me that you believe what she is saying? Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. That's it. I want the two of you out of this gallery and out of this museum. From now on, you are banned. Do you hear me? Banned! With the stubbly little man hot on your heels, you and Azazel put it out of the museum. Once you get to your car, you dump the notebooks in the back seat and jump in to start the engine. Before you drive off, Azazel puts her hand on your forearm. Thank you. You stuck up for me back there even though it caused you trouble. That means a lot. I hope you know. I promise to always back you up from now on, okay? Now, let's get the hell out of here. Alright. Azazel. You can't say that to an angel, can he? Alright. Last three and three of my favorites of the bunch. Early one morning, you find yourself yanked out of a deep sleep by some ruckus coming from the hallway. Groggily, you turn over to peer at your window. Through the gap between the curtains, you see the auburn sunshine lurking just beyond the horizon. The morning has only just begun. Thinking that you get some more sleep and wake up at a more reasonable hour, you close your eyes. But as soon as you do, the noise continues with vigor, a loud thumping that echoes through the walls. With a groan, you rise from your bed and slip into the hallway. There, you're able to discern that the sound is coming from Justice's room. You approach her door and knock. Come in. As the door swings open, you look to the demon's bed only to find it empty. Instead, Justice is on the floor, doing crunches. She pauses as you enter and sniffs at the air. Yo, Taker. Good morning. Morning. How'd you know it was me? Oh, that easy. Unlike the others, you don't reek of brimstone. Can you tell us apart by smell? Most of the time. At this revelation, you stop to ponder the implications only to find yourself distracted by the fact that Justice has resumed her workout. Not even this measly conversation can slow her down. Even as she speaks, she is hammering out rep after rep, counting each under her breath. Anyway, 9, 10, how's it going? You're 11, 12, 13, up earlier than usual. Yeah, about that. All of a sudden, the demon, finished with her crunches, jumps to her feet and begins to stretch in preparation for the next exercise. Ah, I must have woken you. Sorry about that. I was hoping to get my sets in just before breakfast. Justice. Breakfast won't be ready for another couple of hours. Oh, really? Huh, looks like I misjudged the time. Oh well, might as well get it done now since I'm up. Alright, but did you at least try to keep it down a little? Most of us are trying to get a couple more hours of sleep. I'll do my best, Chief, but I make no promises. I'm all finished up my warm-up. Now I'm going to be moving on to the difficult stuff. The difficult stuff? Yeah, elevated push-ups, sideway planks, chin-ups, burpees, that sort of thing, you know? Burpees? Are you out of your mind? We're on the second floor. Do you have any idea how much noise that's going to make? You can wake up Cerberus doing that. Once she's up, it'll be impossible for the rest of us to get any sleep. You know how much energy she has in the morning. Yeah, that's a fair point. But what else am I supposed to do? Have you considered actually going to a gym? A gym could be fun. Do you know any good ones? Well, Oh, come on, you must know the best places, right? Or do you mean to tell me that you were just born with arms the size of tree trunks, huh? Before you ask me how I know, Melody has told me. In a desperate attempt to ignore the rising warmth in your cheeks, you cast your mind back to a time which you did frequent with the gym. It's been some time since your last visit, but you figure now is as good a time as any to go back. Alright, you're gonna want a towel, some clothes you don't mind sweating in, and a water bottle. Oh, hell yeah, we're going now? We are. Unless that is, you'd rather wait. No way, man, I'm in. Then, without further ado, Justice ushers you out of her room so that she can gather her things and change. You take the opportunity to slip across the hall and into your own room when you find yourself looking longingly at your bed. Rather than give in to your desire to sleep, however, you did your old workout equipment out of your closet and throw on a t-shirt and a set of gym shorts. I could have done that one better. As you head towards the door, you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and wonder just what it is you've gotten yourself into. After getting ready to hit the gym, you step out into the hallway and are met with the sight of Justice walking towards you. Practically bouncing on her heels with excitement, she grabs your arm as soon as you're within reach so that you can lead the way down the stairs and into the car. Bathed in the glow of early morning sun, you and Justice load up in the car and make your way into town. A short while later, you arrive at the gym. The large sign over the door reads Mount Olympus. Not only is this your favorite gym, but it also just happens to be the closest one to your house. Through the tall glass walls, you can see that the morning crowd is in the middle of their workout, so you and Justice get out the car and head inside. With the demon is gripping onto your forearm for guidance, you approach the desk and retrieve a couple of membership forms. You fill out a renewal for yourself before assisting an overzealous Justice with her own. Then, the two of you hit your respective locker rooms to drop off your beds. You reconvene at the squat rack. I almost said the squat rat, but I didn't. Are you certain you want to start here? Without a doubt. I'm thinking 7 sets, 13 reps each at, let's say, 133 pounds. Pardon? Yeah, I know it's a little on the low side, but I'm still feeling a little stiff and out of practice, so I thought a warm-up like that would be a good place to start. What do you say? I say, give me a minute to load up the weight and I'll spot you. And with that, you set to work loading up the bar. Though you've never seen a gym that has weights in increments of 3, you find yourself too focused on hauling them over to the bar to really think too much on the matter. After everything is all set up, you help Justice into position. Oh boy. Her first couple of reps look a bit uneasy, so you carefully spot her progress. After the first few, however, the demoness begins to find her rhythm. Soon she's hammering out squats with impeccable form before your very eyes. Justice finishes her first set without so much as breaking a sweat. How's it looking so far? Everything looks good from here. I meant my reps. As she bends down to pick up the bar again, Justice looks over her shoulder at you and winks. Fortunately, you are saved the embarrassment of having to stammer out a reply by the fact that the demon has returned her attention to the workout. Justice knocks out her remaining 6 sets with ease. Jesus. As she is dabbing at the sweat, which has begun... Okay. As she is dabbing at the sweat, which has begun to glaze her arms and forehead, she turns to you. All right, your turn. What are you feeling? I think I'll keep the weight, but I'm going to tone the sets and reps down a notch too. 3 sets, 7 reps. Sounds good to me, man. You do what makes you comfortable. At this, you trade places at the squat rack. Justice places her hands on your hips to get into position to spot you. Then, with a brief thumbs up in your direction, you begin your first set. Admittedly, your progress isn't nearly as effortless as Justice's was, but you remind yourself that not only has it been a while, you're also not a literal demon from hell, and so you persevere. You manage your first set fairly well and finish up your second in much the same way. On the third, however, you feel your legs begin to shake as though they are ready to give up. Feeling you begin to waver, Justice squeezes your hips. Come on, man, you can do this. You've only got 4 more reps to go. With Justice egging you on, you power through the last of your squats. As you return the bar to its rightful place, Justice meets with you a triumphant high five. You killed it, man. Through your panting, you can't manage to reply. Now what's next? Set your sights on the next machine, and the rest of your time in the gym passes by in much the same way as it did at the squat rack. At each station, Justice breezes through her steps before helping you through your own. By the time you're on your last few machines, the demoness is practically glowing, while you feel like just a step above a puddle on the floor. In spite of this exhaustion, however, adrenaline is pumping through your body, and you feel better than you have in a long time. You find that you can't remember why you even stopped exercising in the first place. Sadly, your elation proves to be your downfall. In your zeal, you overdo it with the weight at the pull-down machine and end up going a bit too far. It is only when pain shoots through the muscles of your back and shoulders that you realize what you've done. Whoa. That didn't sound good. Are you alright? Justice helps you detain her from the machine and prompts you to take a seat on a nearby bench. I'm good. I just overdid it a bit. May I? Go right ahead. The demon feels around for the muscles of your back and winces when she comes upon the point of pain. Oof, yeah, you really did a number on yourself there, Chief. Why don't we take it easy for a sec? Have a bit of a breather. As you sit, Justice works on massaging out a little bit of the ache from your shoulders. Embarrassed by your mistake, a hot wash of shame warms your cheeks. Hey, it's alright to be excited, you know. But I don't want you hurting yourself. It's important to know your limits. That way you can avoid this sort of thing. But also know where you can safely push those boundaries to steadily get better, yeah? Yeah. Setbacks are normal. And think of it this way. Now we've got a did I oh, there's so many words that bump into each other in that sense. And think of it this way. Now we've got a good idea of our limits for the future. I really hope you don't get discouraged from this, Tater. Because I had a blast coming here with you today, and I'd love if it's something we can do in the future. Thanks, Justice. I had a lot of fun too, and I promise I won't let this stop me. We can make this a regular thing. How's that sound? Do you mean it? Absolutely. You feel the demon lean her cheek against your shoulder. Good. I'd like that. All right. Let's hit the showers. I'm beat. Sounds good. You both hit your respective showers, clean up, and meet up by the front desk. On your way out the door, Justice loops her arm around yours and holds you close as you walk towards the car. Though sore and more exhausted than you've been in a long time, you find yourself looking forward to your next trip to the gym. All right, 2 more, and then I think we'll maybe call it. Judgment. One day, as you're hanging out around the house, you come to the realization that you've seen very little of Judgment since you moved in. No sooner does this thought occur to you, however, than you happen to come upon the demon in the living room. She's sitting down by the window, and with her back turned to you, it's clear that she doesn't notice you right away. Thinking that there must be something on the windowsill that has captured her attention, you decide to creep up closer to get a better look at whatever it is that has her so enthralled. Then, as you draw near, you catch a glimpse of the object of her admiration, a tiny caterpillar. You step even closer and are surprised to find that Judgment is trying to corral the creature into the palm of her gauntlet. Sadly, the insect, seemingly put off by the feel of the metal, resists her endeavors. You wonder for a moment why Judgment doesn't simply scoop the thing up, but then it occurs to you that she's fearful she might hurt it if she were to do so. Only then do you decide to alert the demon to your presence. Yep. At once, the demon leaps to her feet and spins to face you. Blushing profusely, she wears the expression of someone who was caught with their hand in a cookie jar, so to speak. Mortal! You startled me. Sorry about that. I just wanted to see what you were doing over there. Oh, I have discovered an intruder. An intruder? You mean the caterpillar? Indeed, we must dispose of it swiftly. I suppose so. Here, let me take care of it. Judgment steps aside and you approach the windowsill. As you bend down to scoop the caterpillar up in your hand, you hear a small gasp at your back. Peering over your shoulder, you see Judgment staring intently back at you. Well, what are you waiting for, mortal? Dispose of the trespasser. With a nod, you scoop the creature up into your hand and hold it aloft. I think I'm just going to put this little fella out into the garden. A look of relief flashes over Judgment's expression. Oh? I mean, do you think that's wise, fool? Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. You turn and make your way to the back door. Judgment follows you all the way up until you venture out into the garden. As you deposit a caterpillar out on a bush, you look to see the demon watching you from the window. My nose is itching. Something about the look on her face strikes you as odd. Perhaps it's that you've never seen the demon look quite so vulnerable before. Before you can fully comprehend the matter, however, your eyes meet and her expression melts away before your eyes. You make your way inside only to find yourself accosted at once by Judgment. How could you just allow that creature to escape, mortal? It was probably lost in the first place. Caterpillars don't typically like the indoors all too much. Very well. What if it had done you harm then? What? That little guy? Nah, caterpillars are harmless. They don't really become a nuisance until they turn into butterflies and get their wings. Wings? Yeah, once those guys start flying around, they can be a bit of a nuisance, chewing holes in your clothes and drapes and such. Or maybe I'm thinking of moths. What is the meaning of this, Taker? What more can you tell me of these creatures? Well, you see, come to think of it, I don't actually know all that much about butterflies. They very well could be dangerous for all I know. How about this? There's a butterfly conservatory that just opened up nearby. What do you say we go there and we can both learn a little bit more about these enemies of ours? Judgment's cheeks redden at your suggestion. She looks shyly to the side and you can see her seriously contemplating your offer. Yes, mortal. I think this would be satisfactory. When the afternoon rolls around, you decide to call the conservatory in advance to see if they offer tours. Much to your delight, they do, so you put the tour and approach the demon regarding your date at the conservatory. Thinking it might be a nice surprise, you decide to keep the tour a secret. For now. Ready to go? Fool, I was born ready. Without further ado, you load up into the car and head down to the park. There you're greeted by the sight of the conservatory looming over the grassy knolls. As you approach the giant glassy building, you are met by a young man at the door. From the logo on his polo shirt, you can see that he's one of the conservatory's tour guides. Hello, you must be my late afternoon tour. That's us. Tour? What is this man talking about, Taker? I went ahead and called in advance to book a tour for us. Since they know more about butterflies than we do, I thought going on a tour would be the best way for us both to learn. At this, color rushes into Judgment's face. Oh. Yes, that sounds wonderful, actually. Thank you. The sudden sincerity in Judgment's voice takes you off guard. Before you can process what you just heard, the tour guide clasps his hands together, drawing your attention. Excellent. Now let's head inside, shall we? Inside, not inside. With this young man leading the way, you and Judgment make your way into the conservatory. First, you stop inside a large welcome room. Then the tour guide leads you into the spacious conservatory room at large, where the butterflies are free to linger about all over. As you pass through the great glass double doors, you wonder about the sudden appearance of this soft-spoken side of Judgment that you've never seen before. Though peculiar, and vastly different from the first impression you got from her down in hell, you find yourself excited at the opportunity to learn more about this more gentle facet of her personality. You smile as you watch the demoness bend down to examine a caterpillar on a leaf. Tell me, boy, how long does it take for these creatures to become airborne? With a sigh, you realize that for whatever reason, Judgment's more gentle side is buried deep. You are pleased to see that the tour guide seems unfazed by the demon's sudden outburst. Well, the typical metamorphosis cycle occurs over the course of 30 days. Some species vary from that number by a couple days or so, but generally speaking, it takes about a month for a caterpillar to become a butterfly. A month? That does not give us much time to prepare, mortal. What do they eat, usually? That's a good question, actually. For the most part, a caterpillar's diet consists almost entirely of plant matter. After they undergo metamorphosis, however, their food choice changes depending on the species. Most butterflies eat plant matter, but others may choose to feed on things like tree sap, fruit, or even decaying animal matter. So they're meat eaters? Some of them are, yes, but most butterflies have quite the sweet tooth. If you wanted to feed them yourself, you could put out a plate of chopped fruit, or even just a simple solution of sugar and water is enough to get their attention. Would you like to feed one? Yes, please. At this, the young man reaches for a squeeze bottle that he keeps on his belt. He then takes Judgment's hand, dabs some of the liquid into her palm, and prompts her to hold her arm aloft. Ooh, I struggled with that one too. In no time, a butterfly lands right on the demon's hand and begins to lap at the sugary substance with its narrow tongue. It tickles. It does a little, doesn't it? Would you like to try too, sir? I would. Aw. The man pours some of the sugar water into your palms as well, and soon enough, you too have attracted the attention of a couple hungry butterflies. As Judgment stares intently at the creatures fluttering about her palm, you find your attention is on her instead. It's hard to believe that this is the same demon who once tried to trap you for an eternity of torment in hell. If you put a little on the tip of your finger and draw a line down the bridge of your nose, you might even get one to land there. As I understand it, that makes for a great photo opportunity. Like this. Before the tour guide can answer her, a butterfly lands right on Judgment's face, startling the demon. Oh. The three of you share in a round of laughter before carrying on with the tour. Before you are quite ready for it to end, the tour concludes and you and Judgment return to the waiting area to retrieve her gloves. Just before you leave the conservatory area, you hear a tiny crunch followed by a gasp of anguish. You turn around at once to see Judgment kneeling on the ground. Upon closer inspection, you notice a tiny mangled caterpillar body laying on the path. A few tears fall onto the concrete next to it, and you are privy to the unmistakable sound of sniffling. Oh no. Hey, Judgment. Before you can say anything else, Judgment stands. In spite of the tears in her eyes, her jaw is set. Whatever it was you saw in her expression earlier is gone. Now you can only see the High Prosecutor of Hell standing before you. Foolish creature. Let that be a warning to all of your kind who think they're wise to trust me, for I am Judgment, the High Prosecutor of Hell. At this, Judgment brushes past you on her way to retrieve her belongings. Sadly, all you can do is watch the demon dons her gauntlets and sets her sights on the door. You follow, and soon enough the two of you are in the car with your sights set on home. After a silent and somber drive, you arrive at the front door. Judgment is quick to get out of the car. Thank you for today, mortal. It was enjoyable. Though her eyes are still red from the tears, you decide to say nothing of the caterpillar. I'm glad you had a good time, Judgment. Perhaps we can do it again sometime? Perhaps. And with that, the demon turns and hurries into the house. You fall, but catch no sign of her anywhere. Only the sound of a slamming door meets your ears. For the rest of the day, Judgment's door remains closed, with no sight of the demon within. Aww, so somber. Alright, let's do Lucifer. One more for the day, and we shall call it. Though ever industrious, Lucifer is looking slightly more haggard than usual. Is something the matter? Nothing I can't handle, just a little upset in Hell's dimensional border. Happens all the time. So, Casanova, how'd it go? Is the sin orgy... I forget, that was the basis of the game! We skipped that part because we found Beale's secret theme, but that's what the game is about. It's trying to, Well, I took Judgment out to a butterfly conservatory. Well, it's a start. I don't suppose you have one more date left in you. I could use a break. Sounds good. Where would you like to go? I haven't been able to stretch my legs all day. A walk around the neighborhood would be wonderful. Together, the two of you had entered the house into the warm night air. Fireflies, newly molted, slowly rise from the grass as you walk by. The mellow lights illuminate the mostly dark street in inconsistent bursts. Beautiful little creatures, aren't they? Quite, although you ought to know better than to judge a book by its cover. Even as larvae, they are highly predatory and feast fairly indiscriminately upon other insects. Ooh, that's a lot of syllables. Oh, shit. You know quite a lot about insects for someone who spends most of the day running hell. Lucifer shrugs and sniffs haughtily. A girl can take a passing interest in creatures far beneath her. After all, I took an interest in you, didn't I? That one stung a little bit. I assume your day's been I assume your day's been busy then. It always is. Running hell is a lot harder than raising it. There's a difference? Quite. Paperwork needs to be filed, damnations allocated, and the skeletons go on strike if they don't get their milk rations. Oh, I get it. Just milk's good for bones. I get it. So, why do you do it? They help carry paperwork. Plus, if someone comes into hell unannounced, they're trained to arrange themselves in devious little puzzles that... Not that. Your whole Queen of Hell job. Seems like kind of a thankless task for the amount of time you spend doing it. The ivory-horned demon breaks stride, pondering your question as she stares up at the stars. The Lord of Hell is a position that no demon wants, yet conversely all covet. To take the weight of the title upon one's shoulders is no small task, and matched in unpleasantness only by the problems that arise when one is forced to relinquish it. Forced, how so? The throne is never given, only taken. Since time immemorial, the entity seated on the throne has balanced upon the endless writhing hordes of demon kind, each determined to assert power for themselves. Those at the top have no farther to climb, and thus must look down constantly in fear of being thrown from their lofty position. Ever heard of democratic elections? Lucifer chuckles softly, the dark notes of joy spilling out of her mouth and into the summer air. Believe it or not, things are better now than they were before I took power. I implemented bureaucracy, a proper 5-day work week, and break rooms for the demons and tortured souls to use in between damnations. And the beefcake skeleton guards? Merely an aesthetic choice. Understandable. The two of you continue on your stroll in amicable silence, but it isn't long before another stray thought breaks through the quiet. Has someone else been taking Cerberus out on walks? Not to my knowledge, and I pride myself on knowing just about everything going on in our house. I took her to the park earlier. She went absolutely ballistic on someone who was trying to rob me. Cerberus does have a nose for sin. That girl can sniff out a tainted soul half a mile away. That's certainly true. I've seen her go after the weirdos that hang out around Arrow's Underwear Emporium. Arrow says what now? Actually, forget I asked. I'll just assume that Modius was involved somehow. As I was saying, I've seen her go after some shady types before, but something about this time was different. She seemed to recognize whoever it was she attacked. Lucifer freezes in place, her red eyes suddenly glowing a luminous crimson in the dimly lit street. Very slowly, she turns her head away from you, and with an obvious effort, lowers her shoulders into a more relaxed pose. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. You, on the other hand, can't say the same. Well, the house is coming up. Can I tempt you with a second go around the block? I think I'll pass, though this walk was quite enjoyable, especially after such a hectic day. In addition, thank you for the conversation. It was certainly informative, especially... Lucifer is cut short by the unmistakable sound of shattering glass, followed by raised yet indistinct voices emanating from the house. And just when things seemed like they were winding down to... With a crash, a chair from the dining room is pitched through one of the windows on the front of the house. Through the newly formed opening, the din of voices can be heard more clearly. Insolent whelp! Have you no respect for the rules of the house? Not when you're the only one enforcing them. Yeah. Yeah. Sit her, girls. Sit her. Lucifer's shoulders sat slightly, her eyes downcast. You don't have to be the one to sort this out. It is my house, after all. Yes, but they are my responsibility. I have to be the one to bring them to heel. True, but I'd like to put a stop to this before they can damage the table. Well, since it seems you now have a grudge to settle, I suppose I could allow you to assist me with my affairs, but only this once. Do you understand? I do. Two of you march back into the house, ready to clean shop. Well, this night certainly took a turn towards the unforeseen, but perhaps Lucifer's starting to let you see a bit more into her personal life? We'll have to see what comes of this in the coming days. All right, and that's the beginning of the first act, I believe. Cool, so we're going to save it. Let me just double check. Yep. And we are going to call it. Back to the title screen, yes. All right, well, if you're watching the VOD, thank you for making it this far. I apologize for all of the many stuff that was involved. They can't all be perfect, I guess. That's just how it goes. But I still had fun. I really do enjoy. The Helltaker franchise because they only had the one game, they had DLC, and then after that it's really just fandom stuff. And I really do think that the team behind this game really got the essence of the characters right, while adding their own kind of twist that made sense. But anyway, I'm rambling. So I was going to stream tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to because there's really some stuff I should be recording, some stuff I've been putting off, and the rest of my week might be kind of busy, but I'm gonna try to stream on maybe Saturday. If not Saturday, then definitely Sunday, and maybe both days, seeing how it goes. So next time, I'm gonna see if we can do Sonic Adventure, even though I said Saturdays would be for Ruby. But the